2 people are dead and nearly a dozen others injured following a magnitude 6.4 earthquake in Northern California. It's our top story here on The 4. I'm Heather Myers.
I'm Jesse Pagan in for Carlo Cicchetto. The quake happened just after 2:30 this morning. It hit off the coast in Humboldt County near the town of Ferndale, which is north of San Francisco and just south of Eureka. CBS 8's Shannon Handy is here showing us the damage and talking with a geologist about what this might mean for us here in San Diego. Shannon?
Yeah, Jesse and Heather, we've been getting new images throughout the day showing the destruction in that region, which is pretty extensive. The earthquake hit about 7 miles offshore at the northern end of the San Andreas Fault, where it merges with 2 other major faults. So the area has seen earthquakes before. Regardless, as you can imagine, it has rattled a lot of nerves in the area.
We're crashing down, as you can see. This was a coffee station that we had in our little house here, and our old Victorian house, and it's all on the floor.
We just heard from a woman who lives in Ferndale. She took this video showing what the inside of her home looked like after the earthquake hit, with dishes and other items all over the floor. Now, the earthquake left about 70,000 people in that region without power, and several areas also don't have water because water mains were damaged. The quake shattered storefront windows, as you can see here. It caused several things on store shelves to fall on the ground. It also damaged roads as well as some homes. Now, we've also learned 2 people died either during or immediately following the earthquake, possibly from medical emergencies. At least 11 people were injured, though the extent of those injuries is unknown. Since this morning, there have been at least 80 aftershocks, and experts warn there could be more. Local geologist Pat Abbott tells me that's not an indication that another big quake could be coming closer to our region anytime soon.
There is approximately a 13% chance within the next week of a magnitude 5 or larger. So, people do need to be prepared, especially if they're in weakened structures, to be mindful of where they're staying. And just to be prepared, get that water, make sure they have flashlights and electrical, other support things that they need to carry on if there's another earthquake.
It by itself doesn't tell us anything else that's going to happen. In other words, for us, almost 750 miles farther south, our part of the San Andreas Fault hasn't moved since around the year 1690. So that up there, 750 miles away, that's just too far away to affect us directly.
And despite the epicenter being offshore, there was no tsunami warning, no word yet on when power or water will be restored to the area. Damage is still being assessed. Heather and Jesse.
Yeah, you can understand why people were certainly on edge after that happened. So, Shannon, we do know that the state set up a shake alert system a few years ago. It's supposed to let you know through a text message when an earthquake is going to hit. Do you know if people were alerted and how soon they got the alert compared to when the earthquake happened?
Yeah, state officials say 3 million people actually got the alert on their smartphones, and many of them were seconds before the earthquake hit, which is how that system is designed. It was the most widespread alert since the system launched in 2019. And I do want to mention, guys, this is very ironic. On the exact same day a year ago, this same area had a 6.2 magnitude earthquake. So when you go and you Google Ferndale earthquake, you're going to see articles from December 20th, 2022 today, and December 20th, 2021. That is not scientific. That is simply coincidentally. But here we are, the week of Christmas. These people don't have power. They don't have water. Yeah. Their towns are really damaged. So hopefully state officials can get on this quick and, find some relief for those people.
Man, the coincidence of it all, especially as Shannon, you just said this week, that's kind of got to hit there.